Hello and greetings. I'm really happy to have a really cool guest today. This is Sam Hammer. Growing up in Seaside Park, New Jersey, spending my summers there, I got into surfing, and as I was telling Sam before, started in 1995. We were surfing at J Street in Seaside, and Sam was considered the best surfer of that generation by far. And I always heard about Sam. I always heard about just what an amazing surfer he was. So this is a really great guest that I have today. I'm really excited to have him on the show. So Sam, I guess why don't we start with how you got into surfing? Like, how did it all? This surfing has been a huge part of your life for so many years, and how did it all start?
Well, first, thanks for having me on. I appreciate that. I was really fortunate with where I grew up. I grew up maybe 5 homes from the beach, and
In Lavallette?
in Lavallette, New Jersey, in Lavallette. And I just love the ocean and love the water. And, you know, growing up there, you kind of just gravitate towards the beach. It's, when it's that close, and especially in the summertime, and everyone's on the beach, and boogie boards. Boogie boards. Everyone has a boogie board laying around, right? And I just started standing up on a boogie board because I thought it was cool. And I probably learned when I was like 4 or 5 how to stand up on a boogie board. And when I was 9, I was watching all my sister's friends surf, and I was like, man, I want to be doing that, And then I got a surfboard, and the rest is history. I was really fortunate to grow up where I did, and just kind of have the surrounding environment that I grew up in.
That's cool.
With my sister's friends, and my sister being older.
Yeah, that's cool. And what a lot of people don't realize in New Jersey is that now it's February, early February. And now is the best time to be surfing in New Jersey. There's a like, I would consider it like a subculture of winter Jersey surfers when they have the 5mm wetsuits. So didn't you go surfing just a couple days ago?
Yeah, yesterday was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, the best time of year. I mean, like I was saying, the ocean is there 12 months out of the year, and when everyone doesn't want to go to the beach, that's when the waves are the best. Especially this time of year. Last March was one of the best months I've ever seen, and it was miserable out there. It was just rain and wind and snow, and every other day there was a northeast storm coming, but it was absolutely phenomenal. There was overhead waves for 30 some odd days straight.
Wow.
I mean, it's tremendous,
Yeah.
Anywhere you go.
Yeah.
And just the storms are more volatile, and the conditions get better. Once that storm front passes this time of year, it's definitely going offshore, where in the summertime, if the land gets too warm or the water's cold, you're going to get some sort of sea breeze, and it messes it all up. And you got some sea breezes yesterday, because it was like 60.
Yeah, it was pretty
it was
warm.
Too warm.
Yeah.
But it was still, this is the best time of year. And there's quite a few people surfing with the technology of wetsuits, and you're trying to maintain, and there's times where you start sweating and you don't want to overheat, because if you overheat, you're going to cool down quicker, and you don't want that. You get cold. You gotta get out.
Yeah. Well, what's the mindset that you? I mean, when most people are like, I can't even go outside because it's too cold. I want to just stay inside. And you're actually going into the ocean and riding waves. So, what type of mindset do you have to put yourself in to do that?
The mindset is take it or leave it, I guess. You live here because you live places because you want to be there. My parents were always scared that I was going to move somewhere. I just didn't want to move. I loved where I lived. So either you can adapt and take what's given to you where you want to be, or you can move. And New Jersey has great waves, and we have great beaches, and I just love it too much to move. And if you tell yourself this is miserable, you're not going to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things, mind over matter type, where you just, if you tell yourself over and over, I love this, you're going to love it.
Gotcha.
But I really do love it.
Yeah,
It's something, there's something invigorating about the cold, and it just seems like the water's more dense, and kind of hits you a little bit harder with more power, and there's just something raw about it, being in those elements.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. And I remember last November 2017, I was scrolling through social media, and all over a lot of the surfers in Jersey's pages were that Kelly Slater was surfing in Spring Lake, who's, if you don't know, which you hopefully you do, but if you don't, the greatest surfer of all time considered, right?
Yeah, he's definitely the Michael Jordan of the sport, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He's changed everything in surfing. He's the most recognizable face in surfing. He's one of the more recognizable athletes in the world.
Yeah.
If you were to take his winning percentage against some of the greatest athletes, he would shatter it.
Yeah.
You know, in their fields. And he's a tremendous athlete, tremendous person, great ambassador. Yeah, but he I don't think he surfed in New Jersey for, I don't know, since like, man, when did they come through town? I think I was like 12 or something. It was the last time that he surfed in New Jersey. So a long time ago. But yeah, so he was in New York City, and he reached out and said he was around, and if there were some waves, you want to come down and surf. And it just so happens we got one of the better swells of the year, you know, and he came down, and it was a treat. I mean, it's basically like taking, you know, Super Bowl champ Tom Brady, MVP, and going to play football against your high school, you know, or something. But that's what it's in relation to, and it's phenomenal. It's great just to see those kind of athletes, and you know, someone that is considered the best in the world and the best ever, to see their mindset in something that you approach every day, in your territory, that you see every day. He doesn't see it every day, but you see a different thought process go through their mind, and it's just fun to watch. And there was a moment that day where he caught he got a really good wave. Obviously, it's Kelly Slater. He's gonna get a great wave, you know. But there was one wave that stands out through the day, and it was a set, and we're both paddling out the back, and he was about 15 feet deeper than I was, and I looked at the wave, and there's nobody out. Everyone got pushed in, so nobody saw this, and there was a set, and all of a sudden I look this way, I'm like, man, there goes the wave of the day. And as I'm saying that, I'm looking, and I just see him flying by me paddling, just like you just don't see people paddle like this, you know. And from him to get from where he was, from point A to point B, as quick as he did, and put himself in position for that wave, was absolutely the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen in New Jersey, surf-wise. Yeah. And I've been around some really good paddlers and done some trips with some of the best, and I've never seen a move like that to get position. It was phenomenal. It really was.
Well, as we were talking about before, I just saw Momentum Generation, which I absolutely loved, and they really showcased Kelly in that film, in that documentary, as somebody who is hyper focused on winning, where some of the other guys like Machado and Kalani Robb were more laid back surfers. And I mean, that documentary, it showed how that crew really just changed the face of the sport, because in the late 80s, apparently it was taking a downturn in popularity, and in what was showcased at the time in pop culture, like Ridgemont High was, you know, they're stoners, they're slackers, and then these dudes come out to Hawaii and they just changed the whole guard, like the way they surfed, the way they were charging, just, you know, it took us a while for them to get into pipeline and to become that good, but then they just changed the whole sport forever.
The Momentum Generation, that movie, the documentary, everything that those guys did, and what they built how they started and built their careers, is absolutely changed the whole game of surfing. It took it from the stoners, you know, I mean, obviously you don't get a stereotype for no reason, you know, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that everyone is, and that's the problem, is everybody's not that way. And guys like Kelly Slater, you know, he's one of the most fit guys you'll ever see. But that whole generation, just what they did with the not the documentaries, the surf movies, it kind of just made it more in your face and made more people see it. And Focus and Momentum, I mean, they changed every kid that is my age. They changed the game for everybody with those two movies. Those two movies were incredible. I mean, you have Kelly Slater, who's changing, it was the whole changing of the guard from traditional surfing into modern surfing, riding smaller boards, bigger waves, Yeah, it was so instrumental in everyone's career, and just to see, Kelly Slater, as you were saying, the super focused and competitive, just warrior. That's what he is. His mindset is built to win and do it at any costs. And then you have other guys like Rob Machado and Kalani Robb who kind of got tired of that, grew tired of that. They didn't like the win at all cost mentality, and obviously not everyone does, and it kind of branched off into a different world of free surfing, and that created doors for a lot of people too, so it was such a pivotal time, and the ambassadors that we had that carried us through that stretch of time, it really opened the door for a lot of people, and to see it documented the way they did it, it was really done well, and to watch it, it was like, it's awesome. Yeah. It was really awesome. And they hear the stories of, even they speak about Todd Chesser passing away. And he was the first guy to really be the, nutty guy who's charging
the huge waves.
Where people are starting to tow in. He's like, I don't want to deal with the ski. I'm going to paddle this thing. And that's pretty amazing. Yeah. It's really amazing. So they just, I don't know, they just branched out so well and created so many different avenues for people to surf and make a living from the sport. It's tremendous.
And you were a big free surfer for a long time.
Yes.
Now, did Machado and Kalani Robb, were they influences on you? And how did you get into free surfing, and what were your experiences as a free surfer?
I started free surfing because I realized there was a different way to make money at surfing than going out and grinding out heats and being competitive. I love to compete. I'm super competitive. I wasn't the greatest of competitors when I was younger. I didn't have coaches. I wasn't a highly touted kid. I knew how to work. I know how to work. I know how to go surf and work on things. And I just wasn't having good luck, and I was starting to get stuff published in magazines. So I know I was doing something right. If you make good relationships with photographers and the people at the magazines, and you surf good, and you just handle yourself in a professional manner, you're gonna have opportunity. And Rob Machado is kind of the forefront leader of this, and so he influenced me heavily, and just watching those movies through that generation. I mean, I just sit there and watch it all night over and over and over, rewind, stop, So those guys are tremendous influences on me, and really I was a huge Taylor Knox fan. He was my favorite surfer ever, and he did the whole tour thing, and then he became a crazy big wave charger and free surfer. But they really laid all the groundwork and made all this possible for the generations of today and tomorrow, and they started it all.
Yeah. And another doc that I really liked was the doc that you were in, Under the Arctic Sky, which is currently on Netflix, and it was at Tribeca Film Festival, correct?
Yeah.
And in this documentary that Sam was in that I saw on Netflix, they're in Iceland, and they're traveling through this crazy snowstorm, like a blizzard, and they're going to go surfing, and then the final shot, I don't know if you were in the final shot, but they showed a dude surfing underneath these beautiful lights, which was just amazing at night. It was so pristine. I mean, what was that experience like? I mean, it just looked so amazing to watch. I mean, what was it like just being there?
It's beautiful, and I say this to everybody: if you ever get a chance to go to Iceland, go, because it's one of the most fascinating places you'll ever go to. All four corners are different. It's like different ends of the globe, Earth, and I've been there 4 or 5 times, and each time I've seen something different and surfed different waves. That trip in particular, we were there for almost 3 weeks, and just the storm systems we got hit with were absolutely crazy. So the one was the biggest storm in 10 years, and then 5 days later we got hit by the biggest storm in 25 years.
Wow.
And just the snow and the wind, it was basically like it was hurricanes with snow. So you're dealing with 80 mile an hour winds, and all the roads were closed, so we're driving through it in the middle of the night, just because if we didn't drive from place to place, you were getting snowed in, so we had to keep moving. The waves were phenomenal. We got great waves. The problem was there's only 4 or 5 hours of light each day, so you're dealing with 19 hours of darkness.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of time to drive.
Yeah.
But we got snowed in for 3 days in the middle of like center of the country, and it's tremendous. And then it's funny, I actually didn't surf under the lights.
And was there?
There was 2 trips. So they
Okay.
filmed. They did 2 trips. That's the secret. I don't know if I should say that.
Okay.
Actually, can you edit?
I can't edit. But,
yeah. So it was 2 trips, and the first trip I surfed under the lights,
okay.
and they didn't shoot it as well as they wanted to,
Okay.
and so they went back and reshot that sequence, and that's where the lights were, the spotlights.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was on the first trip where there was no footage from that night because it was a little too dark.
Well, you still did it. I mean, you still did it.
Yeah,
It was still
yeah,
there.
it was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool, but it's just it's just a great experience.
Mhm.
Anytime you get to go experience a different country and just
Mhm.
get out there and just see different things than
Yeah.
what's in your face every day.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And that's what surfing is. It's about surfing, but it's also about the culture. It's about going new
Yeah.
places, meeting new people, the camaraderie that comes with all that, and
Absolutely.
just the whole experience combined really just makes it such a great sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And everywhere you go, and everyone just wants to get good waves and and just have a good time. And that's what surfing is about, and it's what the lifestyle is about. And obviously, when you go to these different places, you're surfing a lot of different waves, and you're meeting new people, and you're eating different foods, and you're just seeing different aspects of life that aren't in front of you every day.
Yeah.
And it's really, you really learn a lot about yourself, and you
Yeah.
learn a lot about what else goes on in the world, and it's a lot of fun, man. That trip was awesome, and that was a trip I'll never forget. It was just kind of one of those experiences that when you're in it, there was moments where nobody talked to one another because you're stuck in a car and we were driving 18 hours a clip, just to try to get from point A to point B. There's one scene in that movie where there's headlights and there's people walking towards the headlights, and then we're digging out. There was actually an avalanche, and that's what that's what made us get stuck. The one car gets stuck.
Yeah, that was in the.
But the thing you can't see is if you're actually facing the headlights, to the right of it, there's a cliff. There's who knows how far it was.
Yeah.
It was far because we were pretty high up on that mountain. And there's a cliff, and there's 60-mile-an-hour gusts, and it's snow, and it's all tilting towards, and it was scary. It was downright scary, and just the driving sequences in that movie do not do it justice. That's all.
It looks scary. I was scared, just watching it. So I can only imagine.
There were some times where you're just like white knuckle, and we had a sick car. We had a Land Rover Defender, but when you have it in that wind and that snow, that thing is like a tin can, and it's just going like this, and you're just like, oh my god. But it was awesome. It was a great trip, and it was definitely one I'll never forget. And I've been friends with Chris Burkard for a while,
and he's the director.
Yeah, he's the director, photographer, and he shoots crazy stuff now. He's shooting. If any of you guys have an Apple, he's probably your screensaver or desktop when you open it up.
Oh wow!
So a few times.
Wow.
And he does Hanuk tire commercials. He's out there doing that
cool.
stuff. But he's a good guy. He's a great photographer, and he has a mentality that's just go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great to work with people like that because they know what they want and they make it easy. You just have to go out there and do what you do and trust him to do what he does.
Yeah.
But he's very driven, and in that situation, we had to leave. There was another sequence where we were on the boat and we came in, and this snow squall came, and it came within 5 minutes.
Wow.
And if we sat in that town and waited it out, we would have never gotten to the other waves. And that's when we had to drive and go through that. And it was just it was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's something I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And I'm still really, really close with a few of those guys.
Oh, cool.
And I maintain contact with the guys in Iceland a lot. And it's awesome.
Cool.
It's awesome.
And I know you have a surf camp now, Hammer Surf School.
Yeah.
And when did you start that, and how's that experience been like?
I started Hammer Surf School 11 years ago in Lavalette.
Okay.
and it's awesome. It's great. You get to work with kids, and you get to work with people that wanna learn.
Yeah.
You know, so we started that location 11 years ago. We started Spring Lake 10 years ago now, and Seaside Park in Long Beach Island about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's awesome. It's crazy how it's gone from a summer job, you know, where you're just started off doing it because I want to make more money in the surf industry, and then as you do it and you start doing it, you realize that, you know, this is really cool.
Yeah. Sharing
what you know with people, and
I
absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you post a lot about like you work with a lot of special needs
Yes.
students, and I saw a post where you're talking about how like you're thanking them for the experience, because just being with them and to have them surf their first wave, and any surfer like myself, and you know that first feeling, I mean, it changes your whole life.
Yes.
Like, and they talk about it in Point Break and in the films, but it's true, and like to be a part of that for somebody that is not going to get that experience anywhere else, what's that like?
Teaching people if people want to learn and they're eager to learn and they're receptive to what you're telling them, it's amazing. It's so fun when the light bulb clicks and you're just like, all right, they got it. You know, you see it, and you see the joy on someone's face because of what you just showed them. And now they can carry this on and teach somebody else.
Yeah.
And the special needs events that we do are absolutely tremendous. We work with a few groups. One of them is called the Walk on Water. Another one's called Waves of Impact, and then we do the Malleola, which is another one. The Malleola cystic fibrosis. The other two are for all people with special needs.
That's cool.
It's if anyone ever gets a chance to do one of these events, for me it's life changing. For anybody that does it, just to see the joy and the elation on people's faces it's incredible. Like it's one of those things that you just have to experience, and when you do, you're ready to do it over and over again, and it's really awesome. I don't know.
I guess you
it's
can't
hard
put it to
it's hard to
words,
talk about
yeah.
it without getting choked up, because it's really just that special. You're sharing your trade with someone that would never experience that because of their condition, but you're enabling them to because of your knowledge, and it's just awesome. It really is. It's incredible. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't.
Check it out.
I would love to.
We're doing one, and we just set it up. We're doing it in June 8th and 9th in Spring Lake. It's called a Walk on Water, and it's tremendous what this. And
what, like, if I went, like, how would I be a part?
There's all different volunteers, and you could help water safety. There's over 100 volunteers that do it.
Okay.
And then we had 100 athletes last year, and this year we're going to try. There was a wait list, and the town of Spring Lake was incredible and so receptive to it that they said that this year they don't want a wait list. We had a 75-person wait list last year.
Wow.
And we couldn't accommodate those people because we just didn't have enough people.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor came down and just saw what was going on the beach and the joy, and you see things that you take for granted in everyday life. You just see parents' reliefs on some of their kids' face that, you know, you sometimes you're dragging kids in, kicking and screaming, I don't want to go in, I don't want to go in. And then they get in the water and their whole demeanor and everything just changes. And it's just awesome to see the effects that the ocean can have, the healing effects that the ocean has on people. It's really tremendous. It's awesome. It's just, you have to check it out.
I'd love to check it out.
I can't say enough good things, and I know I'm not doing a good job at talking it up, but it's really just the joy on everyone's face. You know, it's what it is. It's enjoying the ocean, and like I said, just the calming effect that it has on people.
Cool.
And they all do it differently, and they all do it great. And a Walk on Water, they hand out awards at the end, and it's so cool. They do it like in a group, and it's just awesome to see the joy on the kids' faces, and the you know, 2 years ago in Montauk, I had she was like 75-year-old blind woman.
Mm-hmm.
She can't surf, but we caught a few waves on her belly, and the woman literally, like, she looked at me and goes, "That was the greatest thing I've ever done." And I was just like, "Oh my God." I start crying, and I still don't like I like talking about it, but I still, it's emotional, you have that, someone tells you that, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's amazing. I'll definitely try to be there.
So then also the schools, though, it's awesome. It really is. It's turned from a 5-person crew into a 45-person crew, and we've turned it into a year-round business, which is really cool. And there's a few schools that are doing pretty good things on the East Coast. There's one in Long Island called Scoot and Surf School, and they have a really big program too. But it's really cool just sharing
your love, your
sharing
passion
my love,
with everyone.
The one thing I actually know a little bit about, so it's fun. It's just explaining the different conditions in the ocean, and that's kind of the fun of it. Is everyone sees something different in the ocean. You go out, you see one thing. I go out, I see the other. There's no right or wrong, but it's your expression of what you want to do.
Yeah. And we were talking before about how Jersey surfing has changed a lot since we were kids till now. Where are you surfing now in Jersey, and what are your thoughts on this post-Sandy era we're in, and people trying to change the beaches, and how do you think this is going to affect not only surfing but the Jersey Shore culture?
New Jersey has tremendous waves. We have such good waves, and the replenishment, there's pros and cons to it, and it seems like every town in New Jersey is getting some sort of replenishment, or has gotten some sort of replenishment, or by 2030 I'm sure every town will have replenishment. I'm not an expert. I've made my living off knowing what the sandbars do and how the ocean works, and but I'm not like studied. I haven't studied. I've just seen and witnessed firsthand, and it's the replenishment it's a scary subject to me. Okay. I don't know whether it's good. No one knows the long-term effects. Yeah. A lot of people think post-Sandy, bigger beach, it's going to protect us. Sandy was flooded from the bay, right? As a lot of people know. Obviously there was breaching that happened. The ocean met the bay and flooded the bay. It's just scary because we have some of the nicest beaches in the world.
We do, and people don't know it. I mean, Seaside Park Beach, beautiful sand.
Beautiful sand.
You go there in August, as a kid, I remember just being out 100 yards, you could see straight to the bottom, 30 feet down, just absolutely like crystal clean Caribbean conditions. And who knows what's going to happen with this post-Sandy era? Who knows what's going to happen with the replenishment? But we hope that it just doesn't take away from that.
Yeah.
Because it is such a special place, and if it's a detriment to the area, it could harm the whole community.
Yeah, look, our biggest asset in New Jersey for tourism is our beaches. We have, our beaches are amazing. I don't think I've been to thousands of beaches, and you don't see the sand quality that we have on the street I grew up on. You just don't. And the fact that people are messing with it is scary. And I'm not all for, I don't believe that everything should be left untouched. There obviously needs to be stuff done because the world's changing, the earth's changing, everything's changing, and you have to evolve. But it's terrifying because you're taking so much sand and just throwing it up there. You're not changing the bottom contour a mile out. There's old inlets that are covered up, water funnels and flows to those areas. It just seems like a temporary fix to a long-term problem. And without more structure and bigger jetties, and I don't know, it's just scary. It's really scary because while this is going on, it's creating new waves, but it's also taking waves away. One of my favorite waves, Shankinson's.
Jenks.
Jenks.
Yeah, they call it Shankinson?
Jenks. Oh, I just said Jenkinson.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Jenks.
And that was always like...
it's one of the best waves.
It was like wasn't that kind of like the Newport wedge?
Yes and no. It would wedge, yeah. Back in the day, there used to be no shoals there, and it used to come right to the beach and break. And that's why it would only break a handful of times a year, or had to be bigger. You know, there had to be swell. They did replenishment on the north side in Monmouth County. I think it was 93. I'm not 100% sure on that, on my date. But they did do it, and something happened, and some of the sand started going over there. So when I graduated high school, Jenks was like an everyday occurrence. It was waist high to chest high to head high. It would break nonstop, and it was amazing because there was no outer bars still, but now there's outer bars, and it's not the same wave it was. It got really good last year actually, and then this year it's just been non-existent. And we've had enough storms where it should be good, but it's not, and I don't know. I mean, they're just doing too much stuff to the beach to not have effects in other places. You know, you give and take. You put sand here, it's going to move here. It's it's all changing.
Yeah.
Now the replenishment creates incredible waves while it's going on, but they also do it in the wintertime. And what's going to happen in the summer when all those sandbars push up towards the beach? Because in the spring and summer the beaches build, and they always have. And it seems that's scary because now a few years ago you couldn't surf. Remember we were talking about the summer before Sandy with the school. You know, I'm up on that beach every day, and I was up on that beach a lot during my life in Lavalette, and I never have seen a year where you couldn't surf because there was no sandbars, except that year. And there wasn't major storm activity for the years before that, 2 years before that. So our beaches grew bigger than ever. And that's the last thing everyone seems to remember is before Sandy, we had these big beaches. Well, there's no storms.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just southerly flow after southerly flow.
Yeah.
And the beaches get bigger. My business that year with the school, we had to alternate our times. That's the first year we started doing it. And it was, and there was even days where like there was waves and we couldn't do a surf school because there was no breaking waves and there was swell in the ocean because there was no sandbar.
They were breaking on the beach.
Right on the beach.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And the fear is that's what's going to happen over the summer is where they're doing this replenishment. The sand's just going to pile up on the beach, and there's going to be no sandbars. Who knows? I mean, look, I'm optimistic that it works. You know, we're all hopeful, but it is definitely a scary time if you're a beach, if you're an ocean user, fisherman, surfer, someone that likes to swim a lot. I guess I don't know if it's going to affect them as much because they could just go out a little further and be fine. But you know, it's just changing. I guess it's just everything's changing. You know, but it is a little frightening. Are the waves going to be as good next fall? Are our traditional breaks going to go away? Are new breaks going to pop up? Yeah, it's all going to happen. It's just, you know, I don't know. What are you willing to lose? You know, like not surfing Jenkinson's that much hurts. It was one of the best waves in the state, and it hasn't been that good. There was a few days this winter where it should have been amazing, and it's just, you know, you go out to look and you're like, man, what's going on? You know, and it's due to the change of more sand in the whole ocean environment or beach environment. And
those sandbars, like in the summer especially, I mean, people flock to the beaches just to be a part of those sandbars. I mean, there's really nothing like it where you can just walk out and you have kids playing and there's pools and stuff like that. It is a scary thought to think that could potentially go away and we're just going to basically deal with almost like a Gulf of Mexico type of situation. I mean,
look, in LBI, it seems to be pretty good. It seems to be working, but it's still different sand down there. It's different. They have different bottom contour, and it just affects everywhere differently. It took Monmouth County a few years for it to actually come back to be good. Once they did, like after they did that initial replenishment years ago, they basically did like a straight line all the way up from Manasquan to Sandy Hook, and the waves were terrible. And then it changed, and now it's really good now. But they did a different. The replenishment they did there was more of a spot fill. Excuse me. And they'd fill it in, the sand would move. They'd fill in somewhere else, the sand would move. What they're doing now by us is they're doing a straight line, which is a little scary.
Yeah. And who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, you don't know.
We're optimistic.
Who knows? Maybe
it is scary.
Jaws or something.
And you see, we were talking about it before. Who knows if this is related? But the last 2 seasons for fishermen, and I like to fish off the beach, and you are a big fisherman off the beach for the striped bass, which is an amazing thing. Right off the beach, you put a pole in the water, you can catch a huge striped bass, which is the best fighting fish, the best eating fish. And for the last 2 years, they haven't been coming into the shore. People have been catching them in the boats, but they haven't been coming into the shore, and it's a detriment to the economy in the shore because a lot of local businesses rely on that for the falls. Those fishermen coming down, and it's just like, what's going on here? Like, when we were growing up, we were just talking about it. Late September, like, you would catch fish, and you would catch them till the end of the year, and now it's just not happening. At least the last couple of years, it just hasn't been happening.
The fishing hasn't been as good. 3 years ago, it was really good, but that was before they started all that replenishment by us. Since then, it hasn't been the same. They're removing sandbanks off the beach to, I think it's off Manilookan, like 3 miles off the coast.
Mm-hmm.
So they're removing those underwater sand mounds, and that's what they're putting on our beach. You know, fish are going to learn to migrate differently.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Who knows? A lot of questions.
It's just, the fishing definitely was not. It was terrible.
No, it was terrible. There was
terrible.
just nothing to
and
be
there's
caught.
so many people that affects, and that goes on to the replenishment too. And I'm not sitting here trying to kill replenishment.
Mm-hmm.
I have my personal feelings. Everyone else has feelings, and that's just their opinion. And that
people that are from there and live there, obviously, it's their livelihood, it's their life. So of course you're going to be aware of what's going on and have your own viewpoint.
But I think everyone look, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me that everyone is either for it because it's going to protect my home, because the government says it's going to protect my home, or you love the ocean. And like I said, right now the waves are great when they're doing it. What's the long-term effect in the summer? 6 months, a year? We don't know. Just I don't know. But I just can't imagine covering up that beautiful sand with different sand.
Yeah, and
hoping it bleaches
out.
out.
In Seaside Park, where my parents' house is, the beaches the homes on the beaches, they were completely fine. They were fine. And where my parents' house, it's on the bay side, and that's what got flooded. And it doesn't seem like they're taking any precautions to protect the bay side, when it doesn't seem like the ocean homes are at risk, because they were completely fine. We had the dune set up, everything was fine. And it's just like, well, why are they spending all this money? And they started the replenishment in August, and a lot of people on the beach were like, why are they doing this now? Which was a huge hindrance. It turned the water into like clay. It was not pleasant to go in. Obviously it wasn't nice to be on the beach. You had these big bulldozers on, and they're doing this in like prime time August season. And again, I don't know much about it, but it's just like, ocean fronts were fine. The bayside got completely destroyed. Why aren't they figuring something out with the bayside?
And same thing. So my parents' house it's 5 homes from the beach. So if you're in Lavalette, there's like inclines if you go up towards the streets. So there's slight inclines that go up. All the homes on the incline were actually all right. My parents are right at the base, and there's a line, because there was a big vacant lot on the top of my street. I think it was 6 lots, and you couldn't build on it because it was all dune grass. And when Sandy came, it took all that sand and dunes and just pushed it down the street. And you can see where the ocean met the bay, because the sand stopped and like formed like a bank. It was pretty wild. And the bay flooded. The bay flooded, and the bay, I mean, the ocean breaching into the bay definitely flooded it more. And there's no doubt about that. And I guess bigger beaches hopefully protect it.
And another thing,
what's the cost?
What's the cost?
You know where you live. Like if you own a home on the beach or on the Jersey Shore, you should know where you live next to. You live next to an ocean.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if you don't realize that, either you're just ignoring it or you don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing my family always was. They always understood where they were. And my family's owned homes in Lavalette for over 100 years. 80 years.
Wow.
80 years.
Wow.
actually 80 years, 85 to be exact.
Wow. And your family owns the famous Crab Claws in
Yeah,
Lavalette.
Crab Claws. Yeah. My parents have had that business for 40 years this April.
That's awesome.
Or May. Yeah.
That's awesome. Really classic Jersey Shore
Yeah,
establishment for sure.
it's cool. It's fun. It was fun growing up in that town and building the friendships that I have. The kids I went to, my best friends I went to preschool with, first grade with, and second grade. And, just growing up in that small town, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
Especially, it's everyone complains about tourism. A lot of the locals do, and it's like, why, man? It's 2 months out of the year. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's so quiet in the winter.
So quiet. Now more than any other time. It's like crazy.
The influx of people. It's so fun. You just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a great place to grow up and live, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I guess was there ever a point in your life, because when I was younger, in my early 20s, like I thought I would move to California, and I was really into surfing, and I wanted to move away, but now as I'm older, I realize like this is my home, and Jersey is such a special place. For you, who were so into surfing, did you ever have those thoughts of like moving away?
Yeah, I mean when I graduated high school, I left the day after, and I didn't come home until I don't even know when. Until I was home like sporadically, but I didn't. I guess I always thought the grass was greener somewhere else, and I'd go to California, and California's fun to visit. I couldn't live there. It's just different. It's not my place. Hawaii, I spent a lot of time in Hawaii, and probably lived there for 5 years total, between winters, just a combined 5 years. And it's a lot of time, and you learn what you like and what you don't, and the whole time home's home, and we live in a really special place, and I feel very fortunate to grow up where I did, and I know everyone says that about where they're from, but we really, the Jersey Shore is special.
I totally
it's
agree.
Special, and my parents were always afraid I was going to move to California, and I thought about it for like the first maybe 6 months I was there, and then it's just not. Yeah. It's fun. It's a great place. I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying it's not my taste.
There's just something about like the Jersey Shore and just growing up here. I mean, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
No.
It's just, this is home. I mean, I know everyone. I know every place. I mean, I like to travel, but we are so lucky.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, look, we have one of the biggest cities in the world. Not the one of. The best city.
We have New York, Philadelphia, Jersey Shore.
New York's incredible, and to be an hour and 15 minutes away from that it's awesome.
Yeah.
You could go and see whatever you want to see.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. Go to the best restaurants in the world, and that's awesome to have, in your back pocket for. You're like, all right, it's a little quiet here in December. I need a few days. To see some people, because it's kind of crazy. Like in the winter, you can drive down the road and not see another car, and you can stand in the middle of the highway and look both directions and not see a car. And it gets quiet. It does. I don't know how.
Well, growing up, I mean, when you were a kid, it was quiet, but it wasn't as quiet as it is now.
I don't know. It seems more quiet now. Yeah. It just seems like there's not as many year-round residents.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And maybe there is, but I don't know. Just what it seems like.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's as many younger families, and it's just changing. It's evolving. Which is beautiful. Everything evolves. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it definitely seems quieter.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you have a surf trip coming up. You're going to Costa Rica.
Yeah, we're going to Costa Rica next week. Yeah.
With your surf
with
camp?
The surf school. Yeah, we do surf retreats once a year. We try to do them a few times, but.
Always to Costa Rica?
No, yeah. The past 3 years we've done the Costa Rica. We tried going the. It's hard because there's only so many places you could go where it's. I don't know. Like, I'd love to go to Nicaragua right now, but they're all under political unrest, and it's safe for tourism, but still, you're going to bring people there, and you want to go to Central America, and Central America just doesn't seem like it's as safe as it used to be. I mean, Panama's awesome, and but like Mexico, wouldn't feel comfortable
Yeah.
bringing people down there. But Costa Rica is awesome, and it's very safe, and so we always bring people there, and the waves are always good. Yeah, we'd like to do some other things to the Caribbean, but I also
But
don't
Barbados is big for surfing, right?
Barbados is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
No,
It's
I want to
amazing.
go.
Go.
Yeah.
It's the wave soup bowls down there is
I've heard
it's
of it,
amazing.
yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But another thing too is I don't like to bring too many people places.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want people. I wouldn't want a surf school from, let's say, Costa Rica, having 20 people
Yeah.
just showing up on my beach. It's not the way I operate. So I wouldn't do that to somebody else either.
It's cool. That's
Try
cool.
to be as good as I can.
Yeah. That's
But
good.
yeah, we try to show people a good time. And the past couple of years, we got really good waves, and it looks the forecast is pretty good. Problem is, there's a better forecast here. So it's like, oh man, been waiting for a good day for the last month and a half, and it looks like it's coming next week.
That was like me when I was a kid. I went to California, and like I was like super excited, but then like we had a swell come in the summer, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to go, because when you're a surfer, I mean, you live for the waves.
Live for that day, yeah.
Yeah, you just live for just that amazing, perfect day. And I've only had a couple in my life, and I want to get more back into surfing now. But it is just an amazing thing. A really great experience I had was not this past fall, but fall of 2017. It was a Saturday in September. They had big, beautiful waves, and they were closing out, which I've noticed happens a lot in Jersey, at least recently. So, which means that you can't really ride the wave.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I was body surfing, and I was out there 100 yards with nothing, just riding these huge monstrous waves in, and it was just such a great day. And like, I'm out there in the middle of the ocean, nobody else was out, and I should be completely freaked out. I should be completely scared, completely anxiety ridden, and I'm at peace. I'm at joy.
Yeah.
I just felt like just out in the middle of the ocean. I just felt completely at peace, and it was just such a great day. And I've had a couple of those growing up where it's just like, usually at the end of the summer when I was a kid, and I'm sure you know obviously, but you'd get that one August day where it's just like right before school starts, and it's like that hurricane's just off the shore and just pumping these clean swells right to Jersey, and it's just like you waited all summer for this, and it was such a great day, such a great experience. And
do you remember? I want to say it was 90.
I'm good with dates. I have 90, an amazing memory.
It was close to 92, 93.
What name?
We had like crazy hurricane season. Like it was.
I remember
Felix.
Felix.
No, you know what it was? It was 90.
95.
It was 95.
Felix.
Yeah.
I went out.
That whole summer was like.
I went out.
Non-stop.
I'll tell you a little story. So yeah, it's 95. I really had just started getting into surfing. I was 14 years old. Surfing J Street like every day. It was like my camp. I would wake up, go to J Street, just surf. And Hurricane Felix hit August 95, right around. I have a really crazy memory, but it's right around Jerry Garcia just passed, and I remember that. But anyway, so it was like a whole 2 weeks of like these monstrous waves, and they were steep as hell. And like that's why I give you so much credit. To be a good Jersey surfer, you have to be fast, because these waves generally don't break like they do in California where they roll into the beach. They're just steep. So you have to be such a super fast surfer. And I never was. I was a power surfer. You give me a good face, I'll rip it. But I was never like a fast surfer. So the beaches were closed. Lifeguards weren't letting anyone in. I wanted to go in. I mean, some surfer dudes were out, and I was like begging my mom to let me go, and she's like, "No, you can't." She's very like protective like that. But then my dad came down, and he was a big surfer. Actually, my dad used to own. I forgot to mention this, but my dad used to own, before Grog's, it was South Island Surf Shop.
Okay.
And he used to own that.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so he knew like my heartache and how I really wanted to get out there. So I took my boogie board out, and I got one ride. And I didn't understand the waves. Like I didn't know how to read them, and I just slid down the entire face, and then it broke right on me. And then I was like underneath, and like I was trying to get up, and I couldn't because the white water was so thick. And then finally I like popped up, and I could barely breathe. And then I was out in the middle of the ocean. I was 14 years old. I wasn't as athletic as I am now, and I was scared. I was like really like frightened for my life. And then this guy came. And a surfer guy came, and he brought me into shore, and thank God. But if you go into Surf Taco now in Seaside, they have a half of a board that says like remnants of Hurricane Felix, because I guess so many boards were destroyed during that storm because it was such a big storm.
Yeah, I mean, so it's funny, we're talking about hurricanes. If we get in a cycle, if there's, most of the time hurricane swells aren't that great, because you were talking about before that it closes out and there's nowhere to go. That's why winter we don't have hurricanes, we just have really strong low pressures, and the waves are broken up more because it's not as far away. When that storm's further away, the lines get longer and longer and longer. But yeah, summer hurricanes they're so fun when you get a few good days. And I mean, New Jersey, we have very powerful steep waves, and that's the beauty of it. You know, once you learn how to manage it and handle it, that's what everyone's looking for. Everyone's looking to get tubed. You know, that's like the ultimate goal in surfing, right? Every surfer wants to get tubed, and that's what we have. We're really fortunate with the way our ocean works here. We have great waves. We have great waves. You know, I mean, even when Slater was here, it was pumping. He was, you know, and you still get a lot of the surf community in New Jersey is really good. We have
it's very tight knit.
It's tight knit. Yeah, there's rivalries and there's competition, which is healthy. You know, you need that competition for people to fuel some drive and get better and try to beat one another. But they're very friendly between one another, and you know, surfers travel more now, which is great, because you know, just because North Jersey's pumping one day doesn't mean South Jersey's going to be good, and vice versa. And everyone travels, and so there's great camaraderie between everybody, and everybody wants to outdo one another. But we have really good surfers. There's some really, really talented surfers, and it's fun to watch the progression of the sport in the state. And it's fun to see the younger kids pushing harder. And
now it seems like these aerials, like I was never did that stuff, but kids like now they're just doing 360s, 520s. It's nuts.
Progression, it's crazy. We still have good guys that, you know, we always call it laying on rail when you could really do a good turn, and it's just different, you know, progression. The best guys are the ones that could do it all. You know, they do get really barreled, come out, do a big air, a big turn, or really link a wave together. But we have there's a lot of eyes on New Jersey now too, which is really cool, and that's just due to the internet and just, you know, social media. Social media can make the worst day look like the best day ever. You know, it's pretty funny. You can make any wave look tremendous any day. And
that's true. Little GoPro angle,
little
perfect
GoPro,
angle,
little click at the right moment. You know, but we really do have good surf, and it's just there's more awareness of surfing in the state, and we've always had a lot of awareness, but now it just seems to be more mainstream. There's more high schools. I don't even know how many high school teams there are now, but I know Point Beach and Point Borough got one this year. Rumson has one. Manasquan's been the state champs.
Cool.
Southern, tons of them down south, and there's just more awareness of it, you know. So it's awesome. Surfing's in a really good spot in New Jersey.
I can't wait to get back into it. I got my board, and I went a little bit this summer with my longboard, and I had a lot of fun, and I'm pretty.
Longboards are fun.
Yeah. Man. It was like right before the 4th of July this year, and there was like nice little rollers coming in, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
And I want to get back into it. I want to like travel. It's so much fun. It's just so much friggin' fun.
Yeah. It's just fun getting out there and just see. I always, you know, when the days are the really good days, I always equate it to like a chess match with the ocean. You're just trying to win and position yourself for success. Yeah. You're just trying to get the best wave that you can get that day.
And it's so analytical, it's so technical, like to know like where the best point that you should be is like knowing the sandbars, knowing how the waves are breaking, where the wind is going, and how you can position yourself ideally to maximize the best waves and like the best position on that wave.
Well, that's the thing is and that's the thing about the replenishment is it's very easy to see where the sandbars are right now. But like it's kind of funny. I used to love when there was like no cell phones, no social media, because you had to look at the ocean and understand where to go. And now you know, because, and it's great, don't get me wrong. I mean, the forecasting now it's tremendous. It's awesome, but everybody else knows it now too. Whereas years ago you had to kind of figure it out. And now it's like, all right, this website says it's gonna be pumping here. I'm gonna go check there. If it's no good, I'll kind of start looking around from there.
Yeah.
Whereas years ago, you actually had to go up and see the ocean and kind of take a look and say, oh, you know, south swell, east swell, you know, I go here. And that's the thing is, like, you know, everyone goes up there and we all see something different. Most of the surfers can tell you where the swell's coming from, and that's, you know, the ocean's awesome.
Yeah,
it really
is.
It's always changing.
Yeah.
It's evolving. It's the biggest of highs and the lowest of lows, you know, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Do you? We'll wrap it up, but do you have one story that you can relate to the audience from a New Jersey surfing experience? Like maybe do you have like a memory of the best surfing day that you've had? It doesn't even have to be the best waves per se. It just had a personal impact on yourself.
No, I've been lucky. I've been fortunate to see two world champions come to New Jersey. Andy Irons, he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah.
Andy Irons was here, stayed with me for a week, and then Kelly Slater, and just seeing those guys in, you know, world champs, like the best at what they do, and Andy Irons was, you know, he's in his prime at this time. I think he won the world title the year before and was still way up there. So these guys just surfing tremendous, and just seeing different lines and seeing what they do and their outlook on the ocean, something you see every day. It's awesome. And then there's just so many swells that I have with great friends and the friends that I've obtained from, or not obtained, but like, you know, just the friendships I've had with so many people, and it's all because of surfing up my street. You know, it's like, I'm grateful for surfing. It's really given me everything that I know in my life, and I you know, very fortunate.
That's awesome. Sam, I can't thank you enough, my friend. We got to go surfing soon.
Yes, please.
We should definitely go surfing soon. I'll definitely check out the Krebs Claw in
cool. And let me know.
a very short time. But thanks again. Great interview. Thank you for tuning in.